Business 101 students, how are you today? All right, so this is week 4, and a reminder that the midterm exam will be administered this week on chapters 1 through 6. All right, so this week, if you log into Blackboard, you will see there are 2 chapters, chapter 7 and chapter 8. These chapters are not on the midterm, but they are new material this week, separate from the midterm. And there is no discussion post this week. So you have chapter 7 and 8, the homework from those, PowerPoint, there's a video relating to chapter 8, and then you also will have your midterm exam. All right, so chapter 7, if you log in, you will see the PowerPoint, and let me see them. Okay, chapter 7 is entrepreneurship and starting to talk about small businesses and how they play a role in our economy. So if you are looking through chapter 7, make sure that you read the text and then you go through and do a review of the PowerPoint and look at some of the reasons people might start a small business. We do offer entrepreneurship classes here. Some of you have taken them already. And, there are reasons to maybe work for yourself versus work for somebody else. You can have financial flexibility. Maybe you like a challenge. You like to be independent. Right? So some of those characteristics are what make up the entrepreneurial mindset. Lots of different types of funding you will see that are available, things that are available to entrepreneurs. Chapter 7 goes into a SWOT analysis a little bit, some of the opportunities and threats, the OT part of the SWOT analysis, right? What are some of the things that you could capitalize on as a small business? The SBA, the Small Business Administration, is a wonderful resource as well. There's an example in the Chapter 7 text of pros and cons to starting a business from scratch versus buying an established business, and that is Exhibit 7.4. And so make sure that you scroll through those and look through those. Also, how entrepreneurship not only contributes to the U.S. economy, but also how it contributes to the world economy, right? When you have a product or service that offers items that maybe wouldn't necessarily be available, niche markets, things like that. So chapter 7 is all about entrepreneurship and entrepreneurial mindset. Chapter 8 starts to talk about, let's make sure chapter 8 loads properly for you. Sometimes they don't load properly. And so you load them and then reload them if they don't load properly, the slides. Starts to talk about accounting and looking at the different numbers that are important to a business, thinking about the different stakeholders who uses accounting information and what accounting actually is, right? And the role also of accountants, how they play a role not only in our society, but also how they play a role relative to working within a business, right? So the FASB, Financial Accounting Standards Board, sets some, not really, they're rules, but they're more guidelines, right? So accounting is, it can be proprietary for certain businesses, right? They have a certain way that they keep track of their money coming in and going out. However, if it's the IRS requires lots of different things and of businesses, right? Especially if it's a publicly traded large business. And so oftentimes businesses tailor their accounting to fit what the IRS is requiring too. Generally accepted accounting principles, GAAP, you'll see that listed in chapter 8. And so if you haven't had an accounting class before, this will kind of give you a rough idea, this chapter does, as to what goes on, the reasoning behind accounting. And really, this Financial Accounting Standards Board, FASB, is set up so that through the different principles that the FASB suggests, right, and the financial statements that are made underneath that FASB guideline, they provide information. There's 4 things: relevant, reliable, consistent, and comparable. You want to be able to look at from week to week, month to month, year to year. You want to look at information that is showing you which direction you're going, right? You want to be able to look at and say, okay, hey, this month, here's how we budget. We need this amount of money to break even, right? Or any amount of money over this pays all of our bills and would be considered profit. Those types of things are very important. And for businesses, not only for businesses themselves, but also for investors to look at, banks to look at, creditors to look at. How is your money? Any of you that have watched Shark Tank, right? They ask how many have you sold so far? How much money have you made so far? And you need accounting sheets to be able to substantiate those types of sales. All right, so 3 that we'll talk about in this course: the balance sheet, the income statement, and the statement of cash flows. Make sure you review those, talking about revenue and expenses. And budgeting in chapter 8. And there's quite a bit about budgeting in here, so just try to familiarize yourself with some of the budgeting ideas. Comparison of financial and managerial accounting. I know you have at least one homework question that asks about the differences of financial versus managerial. Managerial is more for in-house. Financial is more for exterior eyes to view. Different types of costs. That's all in our chapter 8 of the text. So you have chapter 7 on entrepreneurship and chapter 8 on accounting. There is a short video on accounting, the accounting equation basics for this chapter. And there are the 2 homework sections for this chapter, chapter 7 homework and chapter 8. Make sure that you have access to those, and those are due at the end of the period here, end of the week. Now, a reminder that the midterm will be posted a little bit later in the week, and there will be a video that goes along directly with the midterm as well. If you have questions about anything, always you can reach out to me, 814-490-6473. You can shoot me a text, or you have my email, crobertson@ec3pa.org. If you want to meet via Collaborate or Teams virtually, right, Zoom, let me know. If you want to talk on the phone, if you want to go back and forth via email, if you want to meet in person on campus, I am on the West Campus this term, Tuesdays and Thursdays, and sometimes Wednesdays. Sometimes Wednesdays. So let me know if you want to meet. And I look forward to this week. You also have a second video coming out relating to the midterm. You guys are doing a great job. At the end of this week, we'll be halfway done with the course, right? So have a wonderful evening, and I will touch base with you soon.